Hello, I am RAMJB. Have you ever wondered how a game like Silent Hunter or U-Boat would look like if you were commanding a battleship instead of a submarine? Well, that's actually been worked on. The game in development that we are going to discuss today is Battleship Command. The lead developer and the only developer of this project is Bracer, and I'm really lucky and thankful to have him for an interview. In this video, you will see that interview and you will see a lot of footage, pictures, etc. about the game he's working on. Hopefully, you like what you see because personally, and you are going to see it in the interview, I'm really excited about this game. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up and comment down below about what you think about the prospect of having a game like this in the market. So here we are, and we are speaking today with Bracer, who is the developer of Battleship Command. So how are you,
Very well. Thanks for having me. It's very fun to be here. Hello, everyone watching.
Thank you for accepting the interview. The first thing I guess is to ask you, who are you? How did you begin making this game?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Daniel, and I usually go by Bracer in most of the forums. And so I live in the south of Sweden in a house with my wife and our two small boys. And I've been a music teacher
wow.
originally. I have been working many years as a guitar teacher. Have a degree in music education, but a few years ago I decided to change career and started to study programming.
Okay.
So that's what I've been doing the last few years, working with back-end software development, databases and web pages.
2 years. I mean, that's not a lot of time. You must have learned really quickly.
Yeah, I had the programming as a hobby for quite some time, and also learned it through modding other games and
makes sense.
And so it's been there all the time a bit. I started to play simulator games sometime in the early 2000, and I started to play the old flight simulator IL-2 Sturmovik. I actually had no idea that it was a simulator at that time, or how advanced this was, and I did not really know anything about World War II, but I just enjoyed flying there and firing rockets at tanks,
Yeah.
And then I picked up Destroyer Command.
Yes.
It's kind of the same situation. I had no idea why are those U-boats attacking my ships and how do I sink them and those. But I had a really great time and started to get more and more interested. And I have a very strong memory from Destroyer Command, how you traveled across the Atlantic, escorted your convoy and fought off a few U-boats, and then came maybe halfway across the Atlantic, and then you get some contact reports of some sort, and you look through your binoculars, and it's just foggy, gray, terrible weather. You see nothing. And then suddenly, out of the gray fog comes these enormous gray shapes.
Yeah.
And it's these big German battleships that just, totally crushes the convoy and shoots my little destroyer to pieces. And this was so impressive for me. And then came Silent Hunter 3, and that's when I really got into simulation games and learned a lot about the U-boats and the naval warfare in Second World War, and really got an interest in this. I played these games for quite some time, but then Arma 2 came along, and me and my flight sim buddies, we started to play Arma 2, and it was quite nice to not do World War II anymore, and I
Yeah.
had a good time there. And here I discovered, that you could script missions and make mods. You could make these 3D models and give them scripts and make them interactive, and make stuff could happen by writing code.
Yeah.
And this was very fascinating. So I started to get interested in programming and all these things, and making 3D models. Then I'm not sure, maybe we're talking 8 years ago now, I picked up Silent Hunter 5 and played that. But then I was more interested in writing code, actually. So I started to play around with the 3D graphics and write code. And I think already 8 years ago, I, for some reason, made a project just to practice programming and practice 3D modeling. And I think I called it Battleship Command. And it was pretty much a gray cube, with some cylinders that you could aim. And this was my project that I used to learn programming. And the years passed. I played around with this project. I started to study programming for real and changed the career. And it started to become a prototype of a game, actually. I started to show it off in some forums, and people enjoyed the concept. And maybe 3 years ago, when I had finished studying programming and understood how bad code I had been writing there, I decided that I felt quite encouraged by the guys who thought it was an interesting project. So I picked up Unity and learned how to use Unity and totally rewrote the project from scratch and properly making some proper code with some performance in mind. I've been working on it on and off in the evenings as a passion project for the last 3 years now.
I can say that what's out there in YouTube, you have been posting some videos, and that's actually how I got to learn about Battleship Command. It looks fantastic. It really looks really good, especially for a one-man project. Let's not forget, you are just one man doing it.
Yeah, it's been a lot to learn. I'm not a naval historian, so all that it's taking a long time to understand how battleships works and naval combat, and all the different parts, 3D modeling and programming graphics and programming ballistics for these old guns, and how the fire director works and all these things. It's a slow project, but full of passion. So yeah, I've learned a lot along this endeavor.
How would you define it? I mean, in the sense, which features will be in the game, which will be left out? I mean, I get is simulation of a battleship. In this case, the host class, right?
The Scharnhorst classes.
Yeah. And what will include, what won't it include, and in particular, what's the thing that you like the most that you are making for the game?
So I would say it's very hard to define the concept somehow, but I would say you will get to play the game in two different ways, or two different play styles. So the one way is pure naval combat. It's battleship against battleship or fleet against fleet. And this you'll get to do by either playing some missions that are scripted and set up, that this fleet against this fleet will battle until the other fleet is sunk, or you can use the quick scenario editor and quickly just grab a few Bismarcks, grab a few pocket battleships, and place them against some Royal Navy battleships and cruisers, and a fight to the death pretty much. So pure combat, and that tactic surrounding the combat there. And you will be in command of your own battleship and can give orders to the other ships in your fleet if you have other ships in your fleet. So this is one aspect, quite quick and pure naval combat, slug fest pretty much. And the other play style of the game is more like more like Silent Hunter, and the real purpose of this specific ship that I chose to simulate, the Scharnhorst class. She was quite weak in the armament,
Yeah.
so she did not really have a good chance against Royal Navy battleships, and so her role became more to hunt convoys and hunt the merchant ships. And so this looks very much like Silent Hunter in the way that you start in a port and you get to travel out in the Atlantic and search for ships to sink. You have to identify them and try to avoid combat, try to avoid getting damaged, because you need to make it back home again, and survive to fight another day. And this game style, it's also through scripted missions, maybe, where you get to head out from a specific port out to search for a specific convoy, maybe, and return home, or you will play this style through the campaign. Now the campaign is just on the drawing board so far, but it will play heavily on that type of game style, that you need to go from port, sink as many ships as possible, and make it back home.
Yeah, I thought the selection of the warship to be modeled really interesting, because everyone who does anything German in World War II with ships, they go for the Bismarck class. So the Scharnhorst is a really interesting proposition.
It's a very interesting ship. It's hard to define the ship class, I guess, but it's a fast battleship. She's fast, so you can run away from the big Royal Navy battleships that you might encounter, hopefully.
The problem is you can't run planes, so that's a problem.
No, exactly. And as history played out, they could not run forever either.
Yeah.
But it adds a lot of interesting gameplay that is not pure naval.
Naval combat.
Battles,
I see your point. Yeah, I see your point.
So that's how I see it, and yeah, so for this patrol kind of thing to work out, I need to have terrain generated, open world, and shipping lanes, ships traveling between the ports that you can find, and the British ships, they also are out on patrol searching for you, and there's also airfields that sends out airplanes in the world and searches for you. So there will be this kind of living world, and currently I have so not all the world, but the North Atlantic and the Mediterranean and these parts are in the game. So you can travel freely from up to Greenland and down to the Canary Islands, or head into the Mediterranean if you want to, or up to Barents Sea, or into the Baltic. So this is kind of your playground that you have. So and then of course you get the ship, which is quite high fidelity at the moment. The model still needs a lot of work. I will totally replace the model, but all these mechanics that historically was on the ship, the fire control computers and the systems and the rangefinder, and I also added a lot of the radar systems that they used, and the engine is quite highly simulated as well right now. So the ship is an important part of the game as well, that you have access to all these systems.
Yeah, there's one thing that we were speaking about the other day is, and I found it really, really great, is that there will be a lot of things to control in the ship, but you can delegate control to the AI to do it for you. So you can be as hands off as you want, or you can be as, I want to control everything as you want.
Exactly. I've been thinking from the beginning that everything that the player can control on the ship, the AI should be able to do for you if you don't
Mhm.
want to do it. Because I call it Battleship Command, and a commander on a battleship, he would give orders more and say attack that ship or go there, and
Yeah, he
he
wouldn't
would
be
not,
running to fire control to fire his fellows, the guns.
no,
That's right.
exactly, or grab a small machine gun and shoot. But you can do that,
Yeah.
you know. I'm the type, I go to a museum warship, and you see all these buttons and switches and controls, and you just want to press them, and try how they
Yes.
feel. But there's that sign, do not touch, do not touch. So yeah, maybe do it anyway. But
I can relate so
but
much.
I better not say that loud, because then I'll never get to go to a museum again. But so that's Battleship Command. I want it to be more a battleship playground, that
Mhm.
here you can press all the switches, you can try out everything.
And learn a lot, because that's another of the things. These kinds of games, for the people who are not used to, I mean, they play World of Warships, for instance, and they get interested in games. They will go and move into War on the Sea from Microprose or something like that. But that's, I mean, you control the ship on a tactical screen. You don't get hands-on experience on what's required to move that warship to fight with that warship.
Exactly. And in this game then, in this case then, the idea is that you can start off by just putting waypoints on the map, and you
Mm-hmm.
can pretty much click on the ship in the 3D world, and you'll get a little pop-up asking what you want to do, and you say attack this ship,
Mm-hmm.
and the crew will start firing. And then as you start to learn and get interested, you can take control of the guns yourself, or
Mm-hmm.
start managing the engine yourself, and use the radar yourself, or fire the fire director for anti-air guns, for
Mm-hmm.
example. So you can learn whichever systems you are interested in, or just let the AI handle it and stand on the bridge and give orders more.
That's really good, because on top of I mean, not multitasking a lot, because it's one thing that I'm experiencing with U-boat a lot, and I have got flagged because of it, because I don't play with map contacts off. And my theory is, well, if I'm the sub commander, I will have my crew telling me what's around the submarine. No map contacts is as unrealistic as map contacts on. And that kind of thing really makes the game accessible for casual gamers, casual players who just want to fight in the battleship, but not being distracted by all the nuances and knowledge needed to operate all that equipment properly.
Exactly. And sometimes, as a simulator player myself, sometimes you just want to relax
Yeah,
and just enjoy the show as well. So I like that you are able to do that in Battleship Command, and I will really keep working in that method.
a question I want to make you right now, because I just pop up. You say that you play Silent Hunter 3 and Silent Hunter 5 with map contacts on or off?
Oh, I don't remember. I think I play with them off, that you don't see them until they get spotted. I don't remember, actually.
That's the thing, because I played with them off for a long time, but at one point I was like, "Why am I making this hell for myself? I mean, I want to have fun with this, not
Mm.
being plotting things on the map all the time."
No. All right. No, I think I played. I think I never really checked the settings, but just let it be at 100% difficulty all the
Mhm.
time. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, actually.
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played Silent Hunter 3, and Silent Hunter 5 I never purchased it, actually, because I had Silent Hunter 4 with the mod that allows you to fight in the European theater. So I never saw a reason to get Silent Hunter 5. And in Silent Hunter 4, I think with 100 realism, you got map contacts, but they wouldn't move. They were just squares that didn't
Yeah.
give away direction, and they weren't either. They weren't pinpoint, so they would be in an area. So you couldn't actually take measurement out of them. So but okay, we are moving on topic here. Well, given that you're making a game on your own, and it's a very big game. I mean, this is a huge project. What do you think is the hardest part of it?
Yeah. It is. It's definitely being alone and having to learn all these
Hmm.
different things, and with limited amount of time and limited knowledge, you also have to make some priorities. What you want to focus on and what you can do. So it's hard that it takes so much time
It's a
and that I
lot.
cannot add everything that I want, you know. So you know, I've been prioritizing the mechanics. So you know, it's hard that many of the ships, they look like gray squares still, and,
Yeah.
and you know, but the mechanics are there. It's going to be a cool game, you know. So it's hard. It's hard that it takes time. I wish I had a 3D artist who would be making the ships and these things, and I take a lot of inspiration from the Silent Hunter games, but otherwise there's not so much to get. There hasn't been a lot of battleship simulators, so
No.
it's so how should it be done? You know, will it be fun to play? Will it be entertaining? I have no idea. So there's a lot of these questions that I find this.
Well, in that sense, if you need references, I don't know if you know about these games, but a good starting point to see what worked really well in the 90s and early 2000s, Great Naval Battle Series.
Exactly.
I guess you know that, but just mentioning just in case you don't. And there was well, Task Force 1942,
Yeah, right.
and some more that I also played, but I can't remember the name now. You're right. There has been no game like this since the 90s, and I think Great Naval Battles wasn't exactly like this. It wasn't so detailed, but at least parts as the fire control was very similar to what we are trying to do getting here. Obviously, the technology wasn't there either, but about what you were saying that you wish you had a 3D designer. This question just popped into my head. I mean, watching as some titles have had really good success with Quickstarter, and I'm thinking about Task Force Armor right now. They have made a killing in Quickstarter just by showing the demo of the game. Have you ever wondered about going that route?
Yeah, you know, it's you know, finances to
Mm-hmm.
hire
Mm-hmm.
someone to help out with the 3D art, and it's actually something that I've been thinking about. You know, it would speed up the process,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we'll see. I'm still working out a few more things that
Mm-hmm.
needs to be set up,
I
and
mean,
yeah, we'll see.
you
We'll
are
see.
halfway already there. I mean, you have a working prototype in more or less early access, and obviously it has nowhere near what the final product has. But if you show what you have and you ask people, "Hey, support me," I guess you will get a good backing. I guess because I mean, this is a very niche product. I know it firsthand
Very,
because
very.
I know it firsthand because I cover it with videos and they have very limited reach. But the people who follow these kind of games, they are super dedicated to them. And if you watch what Task Force Admiral has done in just 1 month, I mean, they achieved the final goal was $300,000 or something like that, and they made it in 2 weeks or something like that. I mean,
It's a fantastic game. Totally amazing.
and well,
What they are doing.
I know you can't say this, but I will because of only based on what I have seen, but it looks as good.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know, Task Force Admiral is a big inspiration. What they are doing, it's it's a masterpiece.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. And
But yeah,
yeah,
we'll see. You know, I have some threads to solve in the game,
obviously.
and uh, and you know, need to make a proper plan for some sort of release and what
Mhm.
the game will contain, and then we'll see what route I will take with the release.
I remember the first time we were speaking over Discord. We were speaking about radars, the flight control systems, and it surprised me that you actually had some really decent documentation or ideas or on how very dark topics like German radar on late war, for instance, you knew quite a little bit about that, and that surprised me. Where do you find all the kind of information and detail you need to incorporate into a simulator like this, which portrays a ship that is not widely known. I mean, everyone knows what an Iowa battleship is, and there's lots of sources about the Iowa and the weapons, the systems, everything else. And even you have the ship over there to go there and take pictures and ask people. How do you find all that information you are putting into the game?
And now in hindsight, I would I should have done the American Battleship because yes, it's super hard.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of I take a lot of creative freedom because all of the ships are at the bottom of the ocean, and there's pretty much no museum ships or even parts of the ships left to check. But I go to a lot of museums, see what they have. I order a lot of books from the libraries that we have. Try to find all kind of stuff related, and little by little you find the pieces that you can puzzle together to create a picture of how this battleship worked. And the internet is a fantastic place. There is forums with people who are dedicated to these specific battleships, and you can get a lot of help from there, from people who have collected all kind of resources. And then there's a few fantastic pages as well, like this German military archives where they have digitalized all kind of ship plans and documentation. Of course, everything's in German, so I don't understand half of it. So it's taken a lot of years, and we have collected little by little. And then you have to combine pictures of some photo from the Bismarck, some from the Hipper class cruisers, and if you don't know, then you have to check the American battleships and try to imagine the American bridge, but with the German equipment, and I think I've succeeded quite well. There's one part that it's just impossible to find any photos or reference to the Admiral's Bridge that is up on top of the tower, the main place where you will stand a lot. I can't find anything. So, but you have to. I went to in Norway. They have one of the turrets from one of the Scharnhorst class battleships standing in a mountain there. They put it there as a coastal battery.
That's from the sister ship, the Nasenau. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't speak German,
exactly.
but
no, I cannot pronounce it either. So I went there, and that's kind of the only chance to be inside one of these battleships, because they took the whole
turret,
and put it inside. Amazing.
Absolutely. That was when they were trying. I mean, the ship got the whole nose blown apart by a British bombing. They decided, okay, this is going to take forever. So while we are repairing it, why not do the original plan of fitting the ship with the 15-inch guns of Bismarck? So they took the turrets out, and they were working on putting. Well, they intended to do it. They didn't go very far. But the turrets they took out, they used them as coastal batteries in Norway, and I think there was one in France. I don't know. I can't remember where they spent, but they took.
Not sure either, actually. I think they had two of them in Norway, actually. There was one in Bergen and one up there next to Trondheim. And the third one, I'm not sure where they put. They have some of the secondary batteries in Denmark as well.
The 15 centimeter turrets as well, I mean, it was they took everything they could out of it, because, of course, the ship was going nowhere. Actually, they were planning to finish it after having won World War II, and we all know how that went. So,
so that's how it is. You have to find whatever pieces you can of the history and books and pictures and museum artifacts, and try to piece this together into a simulator.
I mean, that's a piece of information that I really was interested in knowing, because I'm not making any game, but I love reading about these things. And I mean, there's just no sources. And by the way, I think you are doing better with the Sandhurst, because the Iowa, I mean, it's American, obviously, the US publication going to love it. But I think there's more credit in portraying a ship that a lot of people know about, but they don't really know a lot about. Because the Sandhurst, I mean, German battleships have this aura of like everything German in World War II. People love that kind of stuff. So I think you made the correct choice. Maybe not in documentation, but for the game, I think it's a lot cooler this way.
Yeah, I'm super fascinated by the ship. It's a very interesting ship. It's an interesting story. So it's so I don't doubt my choice actually in that way.
So, well, knowing that obviously this is in very, very, very early access, no, early stages. Sorry, but I guess you still have ideas of what do you want the games to be at release, and maybe ideas of what you would like to add after release as an expansion, DLC, that kind of stuff. Is if the game does well. Any ideas about that?
Uh, yeah, and that's usually the hard thing that I have so many ideas and
Yeah.
there's so many things I would like to expand on. So it's a big challenge to keep the scope
Hmm.
down and realistic that I can manage by myself
Hmm.
to actually finish this game. And yeah, I want that you can set up these battles nice and quickly. Maybe create your own scripted missions. There
Hmm.
should be a whole row of scripted missions for you to play and some sort of campaign.
Hmm.
And then that you have your battleship, the Scharnhorst, in a nice simulation of that, good looking and a proper simulation. So that's how I imagine the game in the initial release. And then, of course, I'm so eager to add, some British ships that you can
Hmm.
control, other factions, an Iowa class. I would love that, or South Dakota. I love those ships. So there's so much I want to add, and expand.
Hmm.
I would want the whole world that you can travel anywhere, that you can head out as the Graf Spee down to
Yeah.
the
Oh, that would be amazing.
South
Yeah,
America. Yeah,
that would
right.
be amazing.
But then I have to clone myself into a small army and to be able to finish that. So I've really tried to limit the scope to something that I
Hmm.
can release hopefully soon, and then I rather keep adding stuff later on, either directly as post release and or work on some bigger things
Hmm.
as DLC. And there's a lot of things I would like to add. The Bismarck, for example,
Hmm.
as everyone likes.
Yeah, everyone,
And
everyone. You speak about German wars, so everyone is Bismarck, Bismarck.
exactly, and those British ships are fantastic. I would love the Warspite, for example.
Hmm.
Personally, I would really like to add that one. Uh, but I've decided to wait and see how people uh, how they receive the game,
The
what
game, yeah.
they
Hmm.
let people play it, see what do you like about the game? Is it German ships, or is it to play maybe you want to play cruisers instead, the Hipper class cruisers or something like that? And I'll see what people enjoy, and then I'll start expanding a little bit based on that
Hmm.
feedback.
Hmm.
If most people want other nations, then I'll go for that, and or if people want uh, other ship classes like heavy cruisers, then I'll go for that because I want everything. That's the
That's the
I
problem.
want it all. I want to add everything. So I would I have to wait and see how people
Hmm.
receive the game, what people enjoy. So
Yeah.
it's
Another thing, of course, that a lot of people are interested in and is multiplayer, and particularly so in a game that has a lot of stations to man and to do things with, like fire control, machinery. Obviously, the place of the captain. Multi-crew is a thing that a lot of people seem to like. We spoke about this the other day. You told me that currently it's not in the plans, and I can see why. But if you can speak a little bit about it.
yeah. So so yeah, exactly. Multiplayer is not in the plans. It will be a single player game. And it's also a bit of a hard choice that I had to make because
Hmm.
I really see it as a multiplayer game. It would really work out. But I decided that it will be too much work, and in the sense that I'm building a fairly new game. I don't have any reference game to build it
Hmm.
on, so I don't really know. Will it work out? Will it be fun to play? So so I thought I better wait with multiplayer until I test the concept. Uh, but now I see that I really think it would work out as both as a co-op game where you are on the same boat and sharing the tasks, and really making effective use of the multitasking possibilities, and also playing in separate ships and fighting together.
Yeah.
And this would all work with the time compression, that you can travel around the world, and it would be. I see that it could work as a system, even in multiplayer. And then of course fighting against each other, that I think is a little bit trickier, but I still think it could be quite fun actually.
Yeah, actually, the idea
But
of getting someone in front of you and shooting the hell out of his ship.
yeah, exactly. That would be it would be really fun. So, but yeah, it has to wait. We'll see if I can maybe get it in as a add-on later, or if it will have to be
One step at a time.
a
One step at
new
a time.
project. It's because I'm really interested in implementing some multiplayer features, but it's then
Yeah,
I will not finish the game
it's,
for years and years.
that's the thing. Trying to get too much just leads nowhere, because then you never finish the project. But yeah, it's an interesting. There's a submarine game. I don't really remember the name now, and now I haven't played it because honestly I don't have the time to. But it incorporates. It's a U-boat simulator, and has multiplayer. Let's see if I can find the information so you can check it out. And
A bit the Wolfpack
I think it's
game.
Wolfpack. Yeah, I don't remember now the name, but yeah, I mean, the concept is super interesting, and I would like to give it a try, but I just don't have the time. But
Yeah,
uh,
me too. Actually, same. I also want to try it. It looks very cool.
looks amazing.
So this kind of concept, I think it would work on the battleship as well. Actually.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I think that's mostly it for the time being. So, if you have any last words for the people watching, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. It's I love the community around all these simulators, and it's it as I mentioned, it's there's so many things to learn about this history, and so I really appreciate my little Discord forum where I have
Mhm.
a gang who helps me out with feedback and gives me ideas and all these things. So it's yeah, I really enjoy to talk about the game. So feel free to chat with me on YouTube or Discord, and we'll discuss more about the game
Of course,
there.
the link to the Discord of the game and the link to Embracer's channel is going to be on the description of this video. So go check it out, and yeah, take a look by yourself, and go to his Discord. Really, really, I've been around. I don't speak a lot because honestly, I really don't have time. But I read a lot of what's going on there, and it's a really awesome community. He's really right describing it as. Well, that's going to be it for now. I really thank you for saying yes to this interview. I really wanted to give a little sneak peek on your project, and yeah, I really hope it takes the shape that I hope it takes, and that you hope it takes as well. So good luck with that, and thank you a lot for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
The same.
Thanks.